Right, so joining us on set to tell us all about this particular National Museum exhibition entitled Through My Lens is Lorraine Johnson. She's the curator of the National Museum and Art Gallery of Trinidad and Tobago. Welcome.
Thank you. Good morning.
You know, just doing the research for this, it was so exciting. What exactly is Through My Lens exhibition, and when and where will it be held?
Right, so Through My Lens is actually a photography exhibition that the museum will be hosting. What we've done is that we would like to invite the public to submit their photographs. So we have 6 categories for the exhibition. We're looking at natural landscape, urban landscape, street photography, motion, local cuisine, and enhanced photography. And anyone, whether you're professional, whether you're amateur, whether you're emerging, whether you think you just might like it, anyone is permitted to submit a maximum of 3 photographs. We're asking people to submit printed photographs on photographic paper at size 11 by 17. And the museum will take the responsibility of framing your work, and we will be selecting the best of the best. We'll be selecting the top 40 to 50 images and putting them on display in the museum from the middle of April for about a month. And we'll also be producing a small catalogue of the images to present to the photographers.
That sounds really amazing. Is it the first time that we're actually doing something like this?
It's the first time that we're doing photography at the National Museum. We've done it, we've played with it in various forms so that we'll have photography as part of a larger group exhibit. This is the first time we're attempting to do strictly a photography exhibition at the museum, yes.
Okay. What about the duration of the exhibition itself?
It's going to be for 4 to 6 weeks, the exhibition, and the period for submission is going to be 4 weeks. So up until the 31st of March, the public have to submit their photographs to us.
How do you submit?
There is an application form because we want to hear, as the name of the exhibition suggests, through my lens to Trinidad and Tobago from me. So we want to hear from the artist, from the photographer, what was their insight as they selected the pieces that they would submit to us. So there's a form that you can collect at the museum. We're also going to be leaving copies of the form at the ministry's head office, which is located at Nicholas Towers, and you can visit either the ministry's Facebook page or the museum's Facebook page to download a copy of the form.
Is there a cost attached
No.
to this? So it's absolutely open, any
Absolutely
age group,
open.
And it's not just professionals?
No, any age group, anyone.
In terms of editing, because you know these days we're so big on editing photographs and that sort of thing.
You mean if it's permitted or if the museum will be doing that? It is permitted. We have the enhanced category for you to do that.
Okay,
Yeah.
wow. What are just to remind us, the requirements of these 6 categories that you just mentioned?
6 categories. We're asking photographers to submit a maximum of 3 photographs. You can decide to do 3 in one category or 1 in 3 different categories.
Okay.
The 6 categories are natural landscape, urban landscape, motion, street photography, local cuisine, and enhanced photography. And of course, we are the National Museum, and we are trying to treat photography like the art form that it is. So we are looking for some sort of aesthetic when we review the pieces for selection.
So you said that you're going to make a magazine out of this eventually?
Yeah, we are intending to do an exhibit catalogue so that the photographers will have a record of their submissions being part of the show. And that's why, too, we've asked you to fill out the form so that we can get from you that brief bio, that brief statement, so that if you decide to take a picture of a little girl walking down the street as she sucks a lollipop, we want to hear what in that image moved you. Why did you feel to submit this? You know, because photography is something that, as any art form, is something that's supposed to encourage the public to look for a deeper perspective, encourage the public to look for an aesthetic, to see the beauty in things that are everyday, that we sometimes take for the mundane. So that we want to hear from you, and once we have that submission, all of that is going into the catalogue.
So you have to have a little bit of writing skills as well?
Yeah, just a little bit.
How long is that written piece?
We're just asking for about 150 words. So nothing too stressful, nothing that would stress
Only
anybody out.
150 words. What is the aim of all of this, really?
The aim of it is, for us inside the museum, a museum is nothing if it's not relevant to its public. So we want to see what the public is saying, what the public is seeing, what are their markers of beauty. And hopefully, once we get that in and we take 40 or 50 of the best, we can then share that with the wider public. The aim too is to give photography and all of the photographers that are working quite diligently out here a platform, to give them a platform to show their work, to help them raise the art form, because that's what photography has become now. Right, so our intended audience for this, in addition to the general public, we're really hoping to appeal to the diplomatic corps, appeal to corporate TNT, so that when they're looking for items to add to their own collections, they now consider photography.
Yeah, I'm seeing the cameraman getting all excited. I know they're into that sort of thing.
Yeah.
What has been the response so far from those you've spoken to?
Everybody seems very excited about it. We're really looking forward to see what they submit, and that was the purpose too. We want to see what this does, how this energizes the Trinidad and Tobago public to submit something for us. So even when we were conceptualizing it and we were talking to people and telling them what we were hoping to do, everybody that we mentioned it to, even when they're there on a totally different exhibition, totally different meeting, they're all invigorated by the challenge. So
let's talk about some of the issues facing Trinidad and Tobago. If some of our photographers were to actually go that way in terms of the direction, instead of highlighting some of the beauty, what about those who probably would like to highlight pollution, for instance? Is that also welcomed? It is also welcome, because like we said, this is about presenting their voice, giving them a platform. I should say though that our publics are mainly students, so we do reserve the right to take out some material that may not be fitting, but we're certainly not going to run from a challenge. Yes. No. How do you feel personally about this entire thing? I mean, it must be very exciting. I
am excited to see, because I really want to see what the public brings forth. I'm hoping that it really takes us beyond. I mean, we have categories like motion. I really want to see how somebody is going to capture motion in a still shot. And see how best we can challenge that. I really want to see what people come up with to give me a beautiful urban landscape. How do you find the beauty in our urban landscape? But it's possible. Artists have been doing it, visual artists have been doing it, watercolorists have been doing it. Let's see what photographers do.
I actually have a really good idea about motion. I have a picture to submit, actually.
Very good.
Now, in the past, what are some of the areas you all have focused on? I know this is the first time you're actually doing pictures. You've probably done paintings and that kind of thing.
We've done paintings. Right now, we actually have a show up at the museum just on sculpture. So it's called Beyond Boundaries. So we've done paintings, we've done sculpture. Obviously, we've looked at our history as well as our art. So we've done shows on 1970, we've done shows on Carnival. Just last July, we did totally a kids gallery. So it was a very interactive kind of thing. And the theme of it was motion and movement, but we invited kids in to climb a rock wall, to bounce on a bouncy ball, to look at magnetism as it moves, you know. So we've done a variety of things at the museum, and we're hoping to continue to keep innovating on ourselves.
So each year you think you're probably going to put forth a different idea in terms of...
Each year our programming is different, yes.
All right, what are your closing comments? And just to remind us of the 6 categories, the dimensions, and...
Yes, the 6 categories, we're looking at natural landscapes, urban landscapes, motion, street photography, enhanced photography, and local cuisine. We're asking photographers to submit 11 by 17 on photography paper. We will take the responsibility of framing your works, and the deadline for submission is the end of March.
And there is no cost.
And there is no cost.
All right, so thank you so much for being part of our show this morning.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having me.
So we've been chatting with Lorraine Johnson, Curator of the National Museum and Art Gallery of Trinidad and Tobago, talking about Through My Eyes, the exhibition.